My name is Looby, and I watch the show about the fastest man alive. To the outside world, I'm just an ordinary nerd, but secretly, with the help of my friends from college, I run a YouTube channel about video games, movies, and TV. I used to think a show about a guy who runs fast would be stupid, but after I watched the pilot, I discovered one of my favorite shows on TV, and this is the only review show that you should watch. This is Flashback. Welcome to Flashback, everybody. It's our first episode. My name is Looby. I'll be your host for this show, and I'm joined by what's probably going to be my usual co-host, Greg. How's it going, buddy?
Oh, it's going fantastic. How are you, Looby?
I'm doing just fine. Season 4 premiere is right around the corner, and so basically what I wanted to do just to kickstart this show is to talk to Greg. You know, he and I will have a conversation, talk about the series up to this point and where we think and where we want season 4 to go. So let's start from the very beginning.
Oh, we're going back.
We're going
going back in time. We're fucking up the timeline just like Barry did.
The fucking time remnants are going to come steal us, and we're just going to become
a
mindless.
Greg time remnant and a Looby time remnant.
Oh my god, that'd be hideous.
Anyway,
so
that was pretty cool.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. Anyway,
so season 1. What did you think about season 1?
I thought that was probably one of the best television series first seasons ever. Really,
Mm-hmm.
I think I watched the first season like a year ago, and it still stands tall. I mean, just the origin story behind Barry, just how they covered everything, how they were able to fit so much into so little. You know, they had first season was 18 episodes.
It was 20-something, I think.
20-something? Okay, so they had 20-something episodes, and it just felt like they got so much in the allotted time. So I really enjoyed it. I thought it was... I know we're going to get to season 2 and 3, but by far I think season 1 did stand out and was the best so far.
Yeah, season 1, like I talked about in the intro, before going into this, because I never watched Arrow, so The Flash just kind of happened.
I got through season 1 and maybe 2 of Arrow.
Yeah, I eventually did the same, but I mean, at the time when I just heard a Flash TV show was coming out, I was like, this is gonna be stupid.
Yeah,
it's just a guy. All he does is run. He's not special. He's not Batman or Superman or Spider-Man. All he does is run. Who cares? But then I gave it a chance anyway because that was like when I was really getting into superhero stuff, the Avengers and all the Dark Knight stuff and everything like that. And just from the very first episode, pretty much every character except for Iris, they just make you like them almost immediately. They all have great personalities. The scripts and the direction and everything just bring you right into their world, and you just feel connected to them almost instantly, even to the bad guys. And then that's another thing is the twist.
Oh my god!
With the bad guys, the whole time it's like they're spoon feeding it to you who the bad guy really is. But at the same time, it's like you're right, but you're wrong, and there is a twist to it. And by the way, if you haven't, if you're watching this video,
go
and
watch
you
it
haven't
now.
seen the series, please. I mean,
you have a week.
Yes, watch as much of the series as you can, and then come back and watch this video.
Yep.
But yeah, like I was saying, just the idea that you know, but you also have no clue.
Yeah, they released the twist probably
it was towards the end, like within like the last 2 or 3 episodes of the season or something like that. So yeah, just like even the bad guy, you come to like him so much, and just the last 2 episodes they're so heartbreaking because you go on this whole journey with Barry and his friends, and it's just it really like rose above I think anyone's expectations really, because I mean...
Well, you knew Thawne was the bad guy not like for sure, but you knew he was a badder person probably like halfway through the season.
Oh, yeah, within like the first... Like by the 4th episode or something like that.
Yeah,
when
you
they
had
actually
feeling,
show him...
Yeah.
You know, doing what he does.
Yeah. But just, like you were saying, within like the 2 or 3 episodes, then you find out he was the one that goes back and... Right?
Yeah, that technically he's not... who you thought he was the entire season. So, just overall character, storyline, villain.
Oh, the villain was top notch. Tom Cavanaugh.
Tom Cavanaugh. Oh my god, that's
incredible actor.
Awesome actor. Just he is awesome. Okay, so season 2.
Okay, season
Thoughts
2.
on season 2?
Okay, season 2. It was really well put together, and I really enjoyed it. I thought the villain in this one wasn't as, I want to say good, but I'm trying to think of a better word. Compelling as Reverse Flash was. I did enjoy Zoom, but I wasn't as invested in his story and just his motives as much as I was with Reverse Flashes. So it was, again, it was still an excellent season. It was the season they introduced Grodd, right? Or was that did he show up in season 1?
I think he might have showed. Yeah, he showed up in season 1.
Okay. Well, they started getting more into like the more well-known villains. Like they started doing backstories of like Grodd, and I think they threw in what's the shark?
King Shark.
King Shark. I mean, I thought the special effects and just everything.
It's so ridiculous.
It was ridiculous. But I didn't like it as much as season 2, just because season 1 was just so like it set the bar so high it was almost impossible for them to try to jump over it. You know, it's not very often you get a sequel or a second season that defeats the first. You know.
Yeah, they caught such fire with season 1 that
it kept so much speed.
It's not. I'm gonna drink to that.
Yeah.
So, season 2. Well, first of all, before I go too much into season 2, another like standout through pretty much the entire series was Captain Cold.
Oh yes, yeah. Wentworth Miller, also from Prison Break.
Yes, also from Prison Break. Wentworth Miller, just he hammed it up so much, but it worked.
Yeah, just his enunciations and his vocal cues and just hello Barry.
It's weird how well it worked because it's not too different from what Jada Pinkett Smith does in Gotham, but it just works so much better for some reason.
Yeah,
maybe it's just the actor himself, and then like he mixes it up with some intensity in between.
Yep,
and also he has a better backstory about how he is trying to take care of his sister, how he had an abusive dad.
He's not an actual bad guy. But he's just trying to like do what's best for him and protect his family. And it just so happens that it kind of
it's all like really bad stuff.
Yeah, parallels the
robbing banks and shit.
Yeah.
But anyway, season 2, I definitely agree with you. It's not quite as good as season 1.
Mm-hmm.
Zoom, just as a villain, I thought was really cool because just the effects of his mask and his voice,
the voice
and,
modulation.
There was that one episode where he grabbed Barry and was like dragging him across town, and like I think newscapters or something like that were taping. It was like, here's your hero.
Or he went to the police station and just dropped him there.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought that was an awesome scene. But then when you get into the stuff with the doppelgangers was very hit and miss for me. Like seeing
it was confusing. Because the point where I'm like, what? Because I knew what was going to happen, unfortunately, thanks to the internet.
Yeah.
But I knew what was going to happen, but I was still confused as hell when there was a point in the season where he gets pulled into a portal, like it would look like Zoom pulled him in and killed him.
Yeah.
And then he's just like, well, that puts, that's an issue, or that,
It's they did that just to try and throw you off.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell is going on? And then you get into time remnants and like copies of himself, and I'm like, what the hell is going on?
That's
like,
what it gets a little oversaturated with time paradoxes and stuff like that. But I mean, some of the doppelgangers were cool, some of them not so much. The one thing that I did think was kind of cool was how they had the man in the iron mask.
Yes.
Was sitting in the prison, and all that time he's just knocking, and he's just waiting for someone to decode his message.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool.
That was heartbreaking, too.
Yeah, exactly.
Loses his dad, and then he releases the guy in the iron mask, and it's his dad's doppelganger.
And he has to live with the fact that this is an exact duplicate of my dad, but he is a completely different person.
Yep.
But he's more like me than my dad was because of his speed powers.
Yep.
It's this weird, like, how do you juggle all of that in your head?
Yep.
What else was I going to say? The new Harrison Wells from Earth 2.
Mm-hmm.
I think he might be my favorite incarnation because like he is very serious, but he does have a humorous side, and he learns to really connect with Cisco and Caitlin.
Yep.
And then Cisco and Caitlin have to learn to connect with him because he looks exactly like the guy that they trusted all throughout season 1.
And wound up killing Cisco in a
Yeah, in like
previous life.
Yeah, in a weird like alternate
before
timeline
Barry
kind of
goes
thing.
back and
alters a few things.
yeah.
Again, spoilers.
Yeah, spoiler alert.
But just watching the three of those people connect, I thought that was probably like the highlight of the season for me.
What did you think of the add-on where it was it the second or third season where they started talking about the dimensional drifters, like the people that were jumping through the portals? Was that the third season where the people were coming from their own universe? I think that was the second one.
Maybe.
Anyway, what did you think about like them adding in the fact that some people like progressively got powers, like how Cisco started becoming Vibe, and then Caitlyn started getting like the cold powers, and like they had all these additions to. They were kind of like taking normal people and then giving them their superpowers.
I was okay with that fact. It's nice at least that there was a slow burn to it, and it's not
All at
like
once.
yeah, suddenly these powers manifested for no reason. It's just they and it makes sense that if some people were affected, then logically a lot of other people would be affected too. So yeah, I didn't mind that too much.
Yes.
Let's see, is that it for season 2 to talk about? Oh, you know what? Well, here's where I started to have another little bit of a problem with the Flash, is because in season 1, again, here comes another spoiler.
Yeah.
Barry technically doesn't really beat the bad guy or really save the day, because Eddie winds up shooting himself, which erases Eobard from at least from that point in time.
Yep.
And also it was Firestorm who kind of like stabilizes, was it the singularity or whatever that came into
he goes
the
up
sky.
and stabilizes the singularity, and
then season 2, Barry again doesn't technically do it. It's the time remnants that come and steal Zoom because he was messing with the timeline too much.
and then it was his own copy or his own time remnant.
Yeah, he learns to make a time remnant that helps him kind of double team against Zoom.
And you see how that worked out for him?
Yeah, the time remnant.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, so that's another conversation that's coming, and it's weird that the time remnants didn't come and take Barry, because Barry's done almost as much to mess up the timeline. But I gave that a little bit of a pass. But I was starting to notice that trend that Barry does do a lot of heroics throughout all the season, but he never like really is victorious in the end of it. Just the problem happens to go away.
Yeah, it just kind of works itself out in the end, or
Sort
it's
of,
just a coincidence that it kind of like eases itself into like just nothing.
Right, like what would have happened if the time remnants hadn't shown up and taken Zoom?
Yeah.
Would he have killed Zoom, and then just you can't have your hero shown killing a guy? That's kind of against TV rules, at least.
Yeah.
But then what do you do with this ultimate bad guy? Do you risk letting him live? So like I get it, but at the same time it bugged me a little bit.
Yeah. I think it's just for progression's sake. Like they needed an end to season 2, and they think they wanted to move on, have a fresh start or not a fresh start, but like a fresh villain for season 3. So it's like they knew if you don't beat Zoom here, he was just gonna keep coming back.
Yeah.
And
then I do like Black Flash, because I haven't watched Legend of Tomorrow, but I have watched YouTube clips of Black Flash showing up and just wrecking shop, and he's this cool force that kind of just pops out of nowhere, and he's actually messing with Reverse Flash. He's never he never totally messes with like the good guys. He's actually stalking Eobard because he probably messes with the timeline more than anyone else.
I actually haven't really watched all that much of Legends Tomorrow, except for the episode where it entwined like Arrow, The Flash, Legends.
The 4-part crossover.
Yeah, the 4-part crossover, Supergirl.
Excuse me. All right, so I think that's going to wrap our season 2 thoughts. Season 3, and here's where things are going to get interesting.
I finished this one off last week, so this one's the freshest in my mind.
It's fresh in him, so it's
so fresh and so clean.
Follow your fresh and so clean. I'll drink to that. So we'll follow your lead a little bit more than mine. I'll try and butt in every now and then with some rebuttals.
Ooh, rebuttals.
Yes.
So with season 3, I thought it was very, very good. It was very close to season 2 on quality-wise, and you're going to disagree with me, but I thought the twist in the final episode was like the most heart-wrenching moment of the series when, spoiler alert, HR actually takes the form of Iris and, takes the death for her, takes the hit. I really thought that was like one of the most heartbreaking moments because you got to like know HR, and as annoying and like obnoxious and pompous as he was, I thought that it was just one of those things that I did not see coming. And I know we had talked about before, and you said it was a cop-out. I'm sure you still think it's a cop-out, but I still think it was, I hate to say clever, but I think it was well thought by the writers to kind of do that. And they introduced it early in the series where you could change like appearance. But overall, I thought season 3 was extremely well done. The other twist was, a little confusing when you find out that the time remnant that sacrificed himself was actually Barry, right? Or one of the time remnants that sacrificed himself.
One of the time remnants that Barry had created wound up surviving.
And it turned out that he was
Savitar.
I almost said Salvador. I always say Salvador.
This pointy little mustache and this painting all the time.
I think of like the Borderlands 2 Salvador.
Yeah, the Gunzerker. Okay. Season 3. This is tough. I hated season 3.
Oh, man.
I thought it was crap. And here's the thing, because I started off defending season 3 a little bit.
Yeah.
Because one of the biggest complaints that I was reading online was episode 1 was called Flashpoint.
Yeah.
And people were complaining that they only spent one episode in Flashpoint because Barry, goes back again and allows his
mom.
Yeah, well, he allows his mom to get killed because that was because at the end of season 2 is when he goes back to save his mom.
Yeah, no, that's
what.
But then he has to go back in like the first or second episode of season 3 and then let his mom die.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so that was
confusing because then once you create like. When you have like the time wraiths come after you at that point, like there's literally like 4 or 5 versions of Barry just chilling off to the side.
Yeah, it's like you watch this one guy's in the corner, he's shaking his head, one guy's tackling reverse flash, one guy's stopping oh my god, just let's move on from this. You had a perfect scene at the end of season 1 where he got to say goodbye to his mom. Let's just leave it at that. Let's stop going back to this little plot point. As important as Barry's mom is to him, it's like let's stop revisiting this.
Yeah.
One of the other things, so that I was reading like interviews and stuff like that, and early on, like the writers and directors and showrunners and whatnot were all saying that they were going to try and get away from having a speedster be the main villain. And so the first, maybe third half or so of the season was Dr. Alchemy.
Yep.
Well, Dr. Alchemy was all just a ruse to bring us another fucking speedster.
Yep. I have to look something up because I meant to wait until I finished the season. I finished the season. I actually never went back and looked at it.
Yeah.
Who was the voice of Dr. Alchemy? Was it Tobin Bell?
It may very well have been Tobin Bell, Jigsaw.
Oh, man.
Jigsaw himself.
Keep talking. I'm listening.
Okay. So then there was also there was like a really dark undertone of this thing, and the most noticeable, I think, where it was with Cisco.
Yeah.
And Cisco, throughout season 1 and season 2, was a fan favorite because he's just so goofy, and he has such awesome quips and jokes and comebacks and stuff like that. He's got great, great nerd references and stuff like this. It's
Tobin Bell.
Yes, that's awesome.
Fuck.
Yes. So then when, by episode 2 or 3, they turn him into just kind of a whiner, and he's mad at Barry because
you big wiener.
Because Barry wouldn't go back and save his brother from dying. And okay, so then that happens. They argue for a couple episodes. Cisco forgives him, and then something happens to where Cisco blames Barry again for not saving his brother. Cisco's a crab ass. And then Cisco relearns his lesson again during the 4-part crossover when he was going with the Legends. They screw with the timeline. And he goes, "Oh, it's that easy to screw with the timeline. So maybe I shouldn't be such a dick to Barry." So then once again and all this time, like when once he's finished being a crab ass, they try to make him just like the happy-go-lucky guy that he's been in all the other seasons.
Yeah.
It didn't feel right to go
Keep
from
bouncing back.
from so emotional and distraught and mad at what we've seen to be one of Barry's best friends throughout the other seasons. To it's just this going back.
It would have been.
It
It would have made more sense if he kind of like had his reservations and maybe didn't go back to complete like happy-go-lucky Cisco, and he kind of stayed reserved. Because man, he had a rough season. I mean, he found out that Barry could have saved his brother. He lost one of his best friends when Caitlin became Killer Frost, and that she just kept bouncing around back and forth.
There's my next
Killer Frost
qualm. So, with Killer Frost, I don't know. It wasn't the worst thing in the world that they did for it. It just seemed it's another like really convenient thing where here's a magic bracelet that. Or it's not even magic, it's a technological bracelet that can stop you from being Killer Frost. And I don't know, it turned into a thing, and I didn't like it as much. Maybe it's just a personal thing, since I'm having trouble coming up with reasons why I didn't like it as much. It's just that
I just didn't like it.
Yeah, it's that little bit of going back to here's a convenient bracelet and it breaks at some point.
It seems like there's a lot of convenience in the third season. There's a lot of stuff that kind of just happens, and it's like, okay, well, that made sense. But as far as Caitlin goes, I thought that it would have maybe been better if she would have stayed as Killer Frost the whole entire season, and then maybe follow her every so often. Like she'd run into Barry and Cisco somewhere down the road, and they'd have like a fight sequence, or they'd have like a heart-to-heart. Like I enjoyed the sequence where she had to come in and help them fix Barry after he erased his memories. Because then Savitar didn't know, like, I don't know, anything. So she had to come in and help them regain his memories. And I thought that was like, okay, well, that, as much as it seems weird that she's helping, like, the people she hates, it's like, oh, okay, well. I still like the season, though. I still liked it.
Oh, I'm not done yet.
Oh, God.
HR. I fucking hated HR. He was so fucking annoying. Maybe it's just because... By comparison, because season 1 he was so like menacing, but also like a kind of a deep mentor to Barry, and then season 2 because he became kind of again like he's part of the family.
Yeah.
And then season 3 he's just this goofy, off the wall, and like I read into this a little bit, and I think part of it, like the writers, director, showrunner, and stuff like that. Yeah. They were trying to let Tom Cavanaugh be Tom Cavanaugh because in real life he is like he's a jokester. He's a goofball.
He's like God, it's from Scrubs. He's like the brother from Scrubs.
The brother from Scrubs?
Yeah. You ever seen Scrubs?
I've seen Scrubs, but like
he
was JD's brother?
Yeah, he was JD's brother.
Okay. I don't remember. Like I've only seen a couple of episodes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's JD's brother in that, and he's goofy and he's like lazy and like a show off and everything.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I didn't know that. I didn't know they told him just to kind of be Tom Cavanaugh.
I think that was kind of like I think it was the inspiration behind that. And so when he finally again he bit the dust, I was like, I hated it. I thought it was a cop out, but at the same time I'm like, good. I'm glad he's dead. I'm kind of sick of this fucking character. Let's see. There was the bit about Iris. So there was kind of like a countdown on Iris's life. What did you think about that plot point throughout that thread?
I thought that it was intriguing because you knew that she was going to die, and then it's like everything they tried to do, they were going to try to save her, and they knew everything that was going to happen, and yet it seemed like no matter what they did, like even though Barry can mess the timeline so much, it seemed like he couldn't actually stop it from happening because it still happened. It just wasn't Iris.
Right.
I mean, Iris still died in the end, so it was kind of weird to grasp the idea of as much as Barry can change the past, he couldn't in this sense change the future.
Right. Which that aspect of it I did really like. And at the same time, looking at this as a TV show, I knew they weren't going to let Iris die. And so I was just waiting for what's the bullshit card that they're going to pull to keep Iris alive. And it just so happened to be HR's death, so I kind of had mixed feelings about that because, again, I hated HR.
Yeah.
What did you think about Wally? So we got a nice.
Yeah, we're gonna go through the characters.
It's well because there was so much that happened in season 3.
Yeah.
So Wally's another like important.
Wally got his speed in season.
Well, it was season 3 because
season
remember he got caught in that cocoon when they raided
That's
Dr.
right.
Alchemy's lair.
That's right. I don't know what I thought about Wally. I thought that he didn't bring as much to the team as I thought he was going to be. He was more of a supporting character than he was as like almost a main character, in my opinion. I mean, it just seemed he was a part of the plot maybe like 50 to like 30% of the time. And I know Kid Flash makes up a good portion of the comics when they do cover, the Flash. And when you watch like Young Justice, which is one of my favorite cartoon shows. I know
that show so much.
Yeah.
Ready for season 3.
Yeah. I have only finished season 1.
Season 2. Well, all right.
Anyway, yeah, we're gonna get back to one superhero TV show at a time. I don't think they covered as much as Wally as I would have liked. I would have liked if they had given him a little more of a spotlight.
I agree.
Fight a little bit more of the bad guys.
Agreed.
He got the girl though. Got Jessie.
He did eventually get.
Who immediately
Jessie.
went back
Jessie
to Earth.
She went to Earth
3 because the
to cover
Flash.
Jay Garrick.
Yep. And then Garrick's back, and Barry took his place at the end of season 3.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, that's jumping around. But Wally. So Wally, for the most part, I was okay with him, despite the fact that he was kind of a whiner. There were a lot of it. But what I was kind of hoping would happen, and I think it happened like for a very brief moment, because like he got his powers through alchemy / Savitar,
Yeah.
and I always thought he was going to wind up being like a pawn
Yeah.
to that entity.
And he was what? Like he worked for them for like
Didn't he like hear
5 minutes.
voices in his head
yeah.
of alchemy and like come work with me or whatever,
Yeah.
something like that? And it
I'll
didn't
free
last
you. Yeah. And they had to lock him in the
in the vaults,
in the vault. Yep, I remember that.
prison, whatever you want to call it.
And then wrote alchemy on the window.
That was pretty cool. See, I thought alchemy was cool for a little bit. Until
Yeah, I thought alchemy was a great addition. Tom Felton.
Tom Felton. How do you feel about Tom?
I liked his character. I don't
Yeah.
know why, but it was just something about that. Because every time I saw him, I'm like, Draco Malfoy, you son of a bitch.
When they kept dropping the Philosopher's Stone.
Yeah, the falafel. Oh,
The falafel.
the falafel. You know what? It's honest to God, the first time I actually thought about that was right now, about how they touched on the Philosopher's Stone.
That's...
Whoops. I thought he was a great character. I thought it was a great addition to the show. I mean, you kind of knew I had a feeling he was alchemy as soon as they started kind of teasing who alchemy could be, or as soon as they kind of like started progressing with the season. I'm like, he's totally alchemy.
Yeah.
But I thought he provided something great to the show. I thought he brought a little bit of humor, and he was kind of like Caitlin's love interest. So that was good. She's on to her 7th, 8th boyfriend in the show.
Like Ronnie 3 times.
R.I.P.
and-
Ronnie.
Yeah, R.I.P. Ronnie. I thought he was okay. I liked him more towards the beginning when he was just like a forensics guy, because he was rightfully a dick to Barry.
Yeah.
Because like, you stay here, do your job. You're terrible at you're smart, but you're terrible at your job because you're never here. You're always leaving early, showing up late, and stuff like that. Like he seemed like one of the most logical characters in all the show.
Yeah, it's just like he was the most realistic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they brought him into the team, and he just didn't really care all that much. I didn't buy into his relationship with Caitlin all that much, because it seems like one of the ways they like using Caitlin is like let's give her another love interest. Like she doesn't have to have one. It didn't feel all that
Invested.
organic.
Okay.
The way they came together. That's just me.
Seemed kind of forced.
Like all these complaints that I have, like it might just like maybe I just hated it because I hated so much else of the season. Like the whole Caitlyn thing. Maybe
it just snowballed.
Yeah, I'm just like a ball of hate over this season. What else is there? Okay, so the reveal of Savitar being the Time Remnant, we kind of already covered that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the final stand.
The final countdown.
Yeah, the final showdown.
Can I just say that I saw me and like I hated it so much. Is when season 3 ended, when it was actually on the CW and it ended. I wasn't even through season 3 yet, and somebody put up a picture of Peter Parker in Spider-Man 3, emo Spider-Man, and then they put up a picture of emo Barry, and I'm like, son of a bitch.
That's awesome.
But that's going to be really
so
fucking funny when it turns up on the show, and when it did, I'm like, that is ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's always got to be the emo ones.
Yeah. Also, side notes.
Mm-hmm.
The musical episode, him and Supergirl, stupid. Hated it.
It was a little weird.
So, oh my god, cringing the entire fucking episode.
Wait, every show has to have a musical episode.
And I was kind of interested to see where it goes because I know Grant Gustin is a good singer because he actually, remember when he did karaoke in season 1 with Drunk Caitlin?
Mm-hmm.
I thought he sang really good there, but for some reason in the crossover episode, maybe it's because he hasn't really got to stretch his vocal cords, in terms of singing wise.
Yeah.
I didn't think he sang all that great in the episode. And we're super friends. It's so bad.
Yeah, that episode was a little
Yeah.
random for me. I'm like, okay, musical episode.
Yeah.
Sure. What's the next one?
Yeah, let's
Just-
moving on. Like
What did that do to the storyline?
like they sort of tied it in because that's when they how do I say this? First of all, he had re-proposed to Iris, the more sincere version of it this time because he gave a bullshit proposal the first time.
Yeah.
But also, this was one of the news bulletins that they saw when Barry briefly went to the future, and it's like music maker or whatever his name was, music maestro, something like that. And it's like music guy does whatever, and so like they connected it with that to try and change the future. So there was some connective tissue, but overall, like 90% of the episode was just nonsense.
Awful. Falafel.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else?
There was the Gorilla City stuff. That I thought was pretty cool.
That was really cool.
It was, again, it didn't make all that much of a difference. Like it was another one of the news reports, but in and of itself, like it felt like it was just like anything, really aside.
Anything that involved Grodd in this in season 1 through 3,
any
was
season.
Awesome.
Grodd is really good.
Yeah, Grodd
When
was really good.
Yeah, when they teased Gorilla City when they send him.
Yeah.
When they sent him there, I think in season 2.
I was like, there's no way they're going to be able to, computer generate all those apes on the budget they have, and man, was I wrong.
For their limited like resources and budget, they did a kick-ass job.
Yeah. They beat the special effects of a lot of movies.
Yes.
They'd have nowadays.
Right. So anyway, back to the final showdown. So once again, I felt it was sort of a cop-out ending because Barry didn't stop Savitar. It was Iris who stopped Savitar
Shot him in the back
by shooting him.
Yeah. I was going to say he was going to die anyway because time was going to catch up with him.
Yeah.
Because he didn't actually kill Iris.
Yeah, he was
so
really...
then, So
he would cease to exist.
Yeah. So hypothetically, it was time and Iris. It was Tyrus that stopped.
Yeah, so
Savitar.
So she gave just enough time, like, because Savitar was about to kill Barry.
Yep.
As Barry stupidly turned his back to Savitar, and Iris saw that, saved the day.
Put a bullet in his...
Yeah.
Yep.
So it wasn't as much of a cop-out as some of the other seasons, but it was a convenient thing.
Yeah.
But then that's when they finally have him, it's like, you gotta
Yeah, you got to pay for all that you did, man.
So all this stuff about the Speed
Go
Force.
Go fix what you broke.
Yeah, exactly. So all this stuff about the Speed Force needs one speedster to help stabilize it. Wally was there for a little bit.
Garrick.
Jay Garrick was there for a little bit. He got out to help with the final fight with Savitar, and now Barry's like, you know what? I did all this
it's my
stuff.
turn. I'll go stay there for the rest of my life.
Yes, and good on him for doing that because God damn it, Barry.
You messed up the timeline a lot.
Suck.
Yeah, you suck. You suck bad.
Yes. Oh, another thing. Well, and this is sort of like it's another aside, but it's a two-part kind of thing. Cisco and Gypsy. Awesome. I really like Gypsy as a character, and Cisco like really tapping into his powers.
That's cool.
Despite his back and forth whiny bitch funny guy, like his
ability to
growing
open portals
as a hero and like his vibe blast, whatever he does. I think that's really cool. Just
I agree.
simple little thing like that. Yeah, so that's
That was
where we
season
are.
1, 2, 3.
Yes, that was seasons 1 through 3. Now we're going into season 4.
Yep.
And we have both seen the trailers for what's coming up.
Tractor trailers.
Yes.
Truck trailers. Trailer Park Boys.
And this was something that I said I was going to come back to. And what I'm kind of hoping winds up happening. You had talked about what you had kind of preferred they would have done with Caitlyn through season 3, how she would have been like a little more of a side character. That's kind of what I was hoping, or am hoping, could happen.
Yeah, in this season? Or
Right,
last season?
Because at the end of season 3, she kind of like, she walks away from it.
Yeah, she walks away and she says, all right, I need some time away.
And she's kind of like more or less embraced Killer Frost because she was still Killer Frost, but she snapped out of it when realizing how much of a dick Savitar was.
Yeah.
So I was kind of hoping that it would just be like she would show up like every third episode or something like that, and like you said, either be, you never know which Caitlyn you're going to get.
Kind of take the Captain Cold character. He would show up every so often to either help the plot along or antagonize Barry or help him in some way. But it was just, he showed up and it helped the plot and it helped the storyline. It was cool to see him like every now and then. It's like, oh man, he's back. And now I felt like that would have been beneficial if it was like Caitlyn. It's like, oh, she's back.
Yeah.
Instead of like, oh, she's here again.
Yeah. So to be fair, we don't know exactly how she's going to be used. That could very well be how she's going to be used.
She's going to be in season 4 definitely because we saw it in the trailers.
We saw it in the trailers, but she's in the trailers with the red hair, and she's back in the basement of Star Labs or whatever, and she's helping out again. So I don't want them to pretend like none of this ever happened. I want them to. Would like for them to do something along those lines, unless they thought of something better to do. In which case, I'm totally open for it. So Barry comes out of the Speed Force prison.
Yep.
And
comes out naked.
Is he?
It looked like he was naked when he hit that car.
Interesting. I was not looking that closely.
It was just his bare legs, man. Come on, give me a break.
Sure, totally.
So he comes out of the Speed Force. They can't last, I don't know, like 20 minutes without him. Right now they have Cisco and Wally defending the city.
Yes. Which that's a decent amount of.
Let me kind of backtrack just a little tiny bit.
Yeah.
When they wanted to introduce Wally, it didn't occur to me that Iris's last name was West, and Wally West is Kid Flash, and I'm like, I knew Wally West was the Kid Flash, but I didn't put the 2 and 2 together to realize. Anyway, so right now they have pretty much just Joe, Cisco, and Wally defending the city.
Yes.
And it looks like from the trailers they just can't handle it. They got some samurai dude walking around with his swords, like blowing shit up, and they're falling apart at the seams and fighting with each other, and like, it's understandable. You're missing your titular character,
the key component to their team.
You're missing the Flash in the Flash.
Yes. So I've read some reports, and the way they describe Barry is that he comes out almost like prophetic, like they almost don't understand what he's saying because he's been in this prison for so long. God only knows what he's seeing because we've seen the Speed Force twice. One was super calm, and the other was like nightmarish. So it's like we have no idea what Barry's gone through, and it's going to be interesting to see.
Well, in season 3 when they ended it. When they said that he's going to get stuck in his worst nightmare, just relived over and over again, the Speed Force, in the form of his mom, said, no, that's not the case. He'll be stuck in probably, I don't remember what she said exactly, but it seemed to me he's going to be stuck in like a time loop of like happiness. Like he's going to be stuck in his like happier moments, kind of just reliving them over and over again. So if he comes out prophetic, maybe he gets glimpses, like he becomes one with the Speed Force.
Something like that. That's probably what allows him to get out, is that maybe he somehow finds a way to like maintain the Speed Force while also coming back to Earth 1 or whatever, like Earth Prime, whatever they call it. So again, the people working behind the scenes, they're all promising that they're going to go back to like the season 1 and 2 style of the show, where it's a little more lighthearted.
Yeah.
Where they're saying that this is more like the Barry from the comics, how he's confident and knowledgeable in his abilities and everything like that, and also that we're not getting a speedster for the villain. Now, once again, they promised us that before, and they gave us Avatar. Yeah. But I'd like to think that they really thoroughly learned their lesson.
Yeah, I don't know if we're getting a speedster this time.
They said we're getting a villain called the Thinker, and he's supposed to be like more of a mental type villain. He's got some weird like thinking cap or something like that helps him out. What the fuck was that on my computer? Hopefully nothing is going wrong. So that he is going to be like a different force than everyone else has been dealing with. And then they are going to be bringing back Earth 2 Harrison Wells.
Awesome.
To help them try and outthink this guy. And there's going to be a little bit more focus on that character, which I'm extremely excited about because, like I said, he's one of my favorite characters on the show.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
No, I didn't read anything about what the villain is supposed to be, although there was the fact that in Season 3 they kept referring to a villain called DeVoe.
DeVoe. Yes, DeVoe is the name of the Thinker.
Oh, well, there you go.
That's right. And they did tease him in... Who teased him? Someone teased him from Season 3.
Who's teasing DeVoe?
Like someone
Don't tease the Thinker.
Someone name dropped him. I'm trying to remember who.
In like one of the other series?
No, it wasn't The Flash.
Oh, it wasn't The Flash?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, somebody
think on that.
So
I'm looking forward to Season 4 because in the trailers it just seems like they're gonna. Yeah, it does seem like they're kind of get it back to like the old, like kind of lighthearted, and it'll start out dark because Barry's not there. But
yes, basically, yeah. I'm also looking forward to this because they seem to be promising us familiar but different, which I think is going to be a nice twist. If they can find that right balance between those two, then I'm totally on board. I'm excited.
Yeah, and that's a week from today that it comes out?
Yes, as of this recording, it comes out a week from today. And we're going to try and record one of these shows every single week, or every single week that a show comes out anyway.
Yep.
Talk about the episode, what happened, where we think the next episode is going to go, where we think the whole thread, the season, where that's going to go. That's going to be the nature.
We're going to do a lot of thinking on it.
Oh, my God. Is this what it's going to be?
Yeah, this is what it's going to be. It's just going to be...
Fuck, dude, I'm going to be an alcoholic by the end of this. All right, so that is going to wrap this episode. Thank you for watching. Be sure to check out our channel on YouTube, 165 Entertainment. Subscribe, like this video, comment on it. Check out all our other videos. We do a lot of gaming, occasional movie and TV stuff now and then.
Yeah.
It's
the month of October. It's Flash month, and it's
horror month. We're gonna try and release some horror-related content. You get to see us scream like little girls playing scary video games.
Yep.
But yeah, that's going to be a wrap for this video. My name is Looby.
My name is Greg.
And this has been Flashback. Thank you for
Flashback.
watching.
Backflash.
I can't get up.